Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rich. In this video I am going to be reviewing a new album. This is actually an entirely new project. I think it's called Hope Floats or something like that. It's kind of like marrying a couple of things together. I started off in my music career writing music for advertising, so doing adverts, and we were asked to write music endlessly that was hopeful and inspiring and built and just had all these lovely good vibes. And up until recently, there wasn't really a word to describe music like that, apart from it sounds a bit like M83 and a bit like some other artists. And I've always loved writing this feeling, this like feel-good stuff, and now it has a name which people can find, and that's called HOPECORE, and I absolutely love it. It's so exciting that it has a name, that is. I mean, like I said, I've always loved this stuff. So the idea here is I'm writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a 7-track album again. Like I said, it's the minimum tracks for an album, and I just love albums. And I've got 7 tracks, and I was just kind of going with the vibes that I wrote for advertising. So using my guitar, synths, piano, my vocals, and I just try and write tracks that felt hopeful. That's it. I then sort of attached kind of slowcore and lo-fi recording aesthetics, so I chucked some cassette emulators on there, and it sounds all squished and smushed, which I feel quite happy with. It sounds like a demo tape. So I'm just going to review this and see how each track is sitting at the moment. I'm pretty excited about this. I just finished the last track this morning. The last track's called Midnight Pleasure. Hello. Maybe I should change. Maybe I should just call it Midnight, but so many tracks called Midnight. Anyway, this one's called Arrival of Angels. Okay, that's awesome. I love that one. Yeah, tick, done. Good vibes. I mean, I was thinking, should I have some vocals, even if it's like a dreamy, washy vocals, but no, actually, I really love it as it is. Now, this next track's called Elation, and the idea here was kind of going more kind of like the advertising piano vibes, where it's like kind of leaning towards the Amelie soundtrack, which was again like M83. Oh, I've forgotten the name of the composer of the Amelie soundtrack. The Amelie soundtrack and his Goodbye Lenin soundtrack as well. Like, they were always sort of requested. So I've spent so many years kind of sitting in this vibe. This was a happy place for me too. So let's have a listen. Okay, yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. Like I said, I kind of, well, like I said, like I put on the post-it note, I wanted it to sound like an old LP that was rusty and wobbly and that was recorded badly and played badly. Well, not played badly per se, but you know, I wanted it to feel like that. I'm really happy with how that sounds. So this next one is called Hope Floats. I can't remember what the vibe of this one is or how it's supposed to feel, so let's have a listen. I think this might be the weakest one on the album. I think a little bit quiet. The lead line is a bit too loud, and I think I should put it through the same cassette emulation because I think I took that off. And also I think this a bit too long. It's 2 minutes 20, and actually it's more of a like an interlude. So I think I'm going to cut that in half and then just warm it up a little bit. But once I've done that, I think it will do what it's supposed to do, which is that it's like floaty interlude between tracks. Next one, Midnight Pleasure. Hello. This was the one I've just finished this morning, and yeah, let's have a listen. Yeah, pretty pleased with this one. I've got a couple of notes. I think the drums are a bit too loud. They're a bit too bright anyway. I'm going to remove the main vocal from the midsection where it's like, ah. I have the midnight thing going on underneath. I think I'm going to just change it to called Midnight. And I think the ukulele is too quiet. I've got a little strumming ukulele in there too. Bit too quiet. Now, this next one is called The Lakes. This was a bit of an experiment, actually. It was me trying to play my violins actually in tune and my cello. And the idea was kind of just to capture a feeling, the same feeling but with strings, live strings. P.S. I'm not a string player. I'm bad at the strings. So this was a real challenge for me. I didn't want to keep doing tons of takes. I didn't want to auto-tune anything. So it's a bit wobbly, but I think that's one of the reasons why I love it. Let's have a listen. I really like that. I think it's really cool. I love the kind of like me long sort of portamento, that's the word, notes that kind of like slide into the next one. There's a couple of volume issues. Some of the notes are really loud and some of them aren't, so I'm going to go in there and adjust that, adjust the volumes. But aside from that, really like that. Nice little test. Oh, let's go on to the next one. This one's called Waiting for You. I think my favourite part of that track is actually the ending, where it's all the softer sounds. I think there's too many harsh, bright sounds going through this. I think that top is a bit too loud. I think I might need to adjust the layers a little bit so we can hear that lovely soft stuff. Maybe I start with that soft stuff, I don't know. Also that kind of like, the timing felt a bit odd, but I quite like it, so I'm not sure about that. But yeah, overall, really nice ideas in this one. Next one, You'll Always Be My One. It's about my wife. And yeah, nothing more to say about this really. Let's have a listen. really like that one. So upbeat and fun. Just a couple of notes. There's like a 5-note pattern, do 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 do, which I think as the track kicks in, I think I should drop that down a bit. Then I just add a drum fill at 39 seconds where it's like da da, and then comes into the next part. And I think some of the vocals are a little bit out of time, just a tiny bit. But these are all tiny notes. I mean, I would honestly be happy releasing it as is, because most of these, apart from Hope Floats, are good to go. These are all tiny tweaks, and I do generally follow a kind of done is better than perfect and 70% done is good enough kind of vibe. But in this instance, I'll just take the extra like 10 minutes to change all these extra bits. But I'm really pleased with this. I think it sounds really cool. I like the name Hope Floats, just because it's kind of like, it's that nice feeling that you get when you're feeling hopeful, when you feel like you're floating. Maybe it's hope floating. I don't know. Hopeful floats? I don't know. Hope floats. Hope float. Yeah. Either way, I think that's the name of the project, Hope Floats. And the album might be called Arrival of Angels. I think that would be the theme. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed the tracks, and you are awesome. Please put any comments below, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Boop.